Welcome. So, class of 2020, does that take you back to opening celebration where you showed up wearing yellow, a little nervous? It's a little bit of a bookend to your time at Goucher. I'm Cynthia Terry, Goucher College chaplain, and as you may be able to tell, I'm on campus. I'm in the chapel. It feels good to be here and so strange to be here alone. And yet you are here with me as we are creating and being community in this digital way. I'm going to stop saying virtual. Instead, it's real. We're real. Our community is real. So welcome all of you to Baccalaureate. That's it, Baccalaureate, one of those occasions that many of us have heard of, been to, participated in, and I'm guessing that many, perhaps most, aren't sure just what a baccalaureate service is all about anyway. So a little background. The baccalaureate service derives from the medieval European custom of presenting the candidates for baccalaureate, for the degree of bachelor, bacca, with laurels, lauri. It is believed to have originated in Oxford in 1432, when each bachelor was required to deliver a sermon in Latin as part of his, and of course his, academic exercise. I'm sorry, class of 2020, there are no laurel wreaths for you, but there are no sermons either. So the tradition of baccalaureate has continued, mostly without the Latin sermons, for nearly 6 centuries. But what does it mean for us at Goucher today? I think of baccalaureate as a family gathering, if you will, a more intimate gathering, if you can call a large gathering on Zoom and YouTube intimate. It's more intimate than the large-scale pomp and circumstance commencement exercises. It is a chance for us to gather together, 2 circles of community coming together. There's the Goucher circle, students, faculty, staff, peers, and there's the home circle, parents, siblings, friends, family. And today we are tiny circles all around the world coming together, merging for a time into one circle. Granted, it's one very large metaphoric circle, but even as large as we are, let's claim that there is intimacy here too. Baccalaureate gives us the opportunity to reflect and remember with laughter, maybe some tears, to celebrate who you are, some of what you've experienced during your years at Goucher. You can look back on yourself when you started here at 18 or 19 or 20 or 30 something and think with some relief, wow, I've grown up, I've changed, thank goodness. This is our time to celebrate who we, your teachers and mentors, your family and friends, have helped you to become, and also to celebrate who you have helped us to become. Those of us who work and teach in higher ed do so in part because of how much we learn, how much we grow every year. So this today is the chance for all of us to give thanks, to acknowledge mistakes and failures, to remember our sadness and pain, and to celebrate transformation and growth. Baccalaureate is our time to reflect on the meaning of this transition that is commencement. It's the time when we can reflect on our values, our commitments, our beliefs. We can reflect on that which gives meaning to our decisions, our relationships, our choices, our very lives. It's a time when we can reflect and appreciate. It's a time for each of us simply to be present. This is our chance to say the important family things. It's sort of our travel safely, be careful, have fun, I'm proud of you, I love you moment. The thanks for everything, I had a great time, I'll let you know when I get there moment. You know, the moment right as you're leaving, right at the door, the moment when all the really, really important things get said. That is what baccalaureate is. Our chance as your hand is on the door to say the important things one more time. It's your chance, class of 2020, on your way to your next thing, to stop a moment and say the important things. So, class of 2020, family, friends, faculty, staff, this is Baccalaureate. Your hand is on the door, you are nearly out. This is the moment to say the things that matter. Let us say and hear those important words. Thanks for everything. I will remember you, and I'll be in touch. Washalabimpe, stay well. And we are so proud of you. We love you. Wayabimpe, go well. And of course, we say this year, see you next year. May it be so.
Thank you, Cynthia. And thank you everyone for joining us for this real version of Baccalaureate. It's nice to see your faces. As we gather today, we acknowledge that there are many within our community grieving the loss of parents, siblings, grandparents, spouses, and friends. As we celebrate, let us remember and call to mind all these beloved family and friends, including Dr. Eli Velder, Dr. Christelle Trump-Bond, and Ms. Ruby Johnson. Please join us responsively in this reading by repeating, "We remember them," after each line. Thank you. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember them. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them.
In the opening buds and in the rebirth of spring,
we remember them.
in the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer,
We remember them.
Remember them.
In the rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them.
Remember them.
At the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them.
Remember them.
When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them.
We remember
We
them.
remember them.
When we are lost and sick at heart,
We remember them. Remember them.
When we have joys we yearn to share,
We remember them.
so long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us.
As we remember.
Remember them.
As a mother watches over her children, willing to risk her own life to protect them, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, suffusing the whole world with unobstructed loving kindness. May all beings be peaceful and happy. May all beings be safe from harm. May all beings be healthy and strong. May all beings have ease of well-being.
儒家提倡的三种德行是智、仁、勇三大德。智者不惑，仁者不忧，勇者不惧。There are three virtues of Confucianism: wisdom, kindness, and bravery. The wise are free from perplexities, the kind-hearted are free from worries, and the brave are free from fear. Inumi palim nikoach ne'echshut v'koach ratzon. La'asot v'lurach le'payel liot v'lurach li'chayel. Shalom enu yiyeh batuach v'shuchainu miruchaim. We pray for strength, determination, and willpower to do instead of merely to pray, to become instead of merely to wish, that our world may be safe and that our lives may be blessed.
Будьте сильным и храбрым, не бойтесь, не отчаивайтесь, ибо Господь Бог ваш будет всегда с вами во всех ваших делах. Be strong and courageous. Do not be terrified. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladhina an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Ameen. In the name of Allah, the infinitely compassionate and merciful. Praise be to Allah, Lord of all the worlds, the compassionate, the merciful, ruler on the day of reckoning. You alone do we worship, and you alone do we ask for help. Guide us on the straight path, the path of those who have received your grace, not the path of those who have brought down wrath, nor of those who wander astray. Ameen.
Supra-nos, então, com tuas maravilhosas graças, que se escondam dos olhos humanos. Vós que sois o idealista de todas as criações, não há Deus que não vós, o Todo-Poderoso, a maior glória altíssima. Supply us then with thy wondrous gifts that are hid from the eyes of men. Thou art verily the fashioner of all creation. No God is there but thee, the Almighty, the All-Glorious, the Most High.
Gloire à toi, Seigneur mon Dieu. Je te supplie, par ton nom par lequel tu as séparé la lumière du feu et la vérité du refus, de m'accorder à moi et à mes compagnons les biens de ce monde et de l'autre. Accorde-nous donc tes merveilleux dons qui sont cachés aux yeux des hommes. Il n'est d'autre Dieu que toi, le Tout-Puissant, le Glorieux, le Très-Haut. I entreat thee, O my Lord, by thy most great name, whereby thou didst separate light from fire, and truth from denial, to send down upon me and upon such of my loved ones as are in my company, the good of this world and of the next.
Nin apolis ton dulonsu, despota, katatorimasu en idini, oti idon I oftalmimu to sutirionsu, oitimasas kata prosopon pandon ton laon, Fos is apocalypsin ethnon ke doxan laosu Israel. Amen. Lord, now let your servant go in peace. Your word has been fulfilled. My own eyes have seen the salvation which you have prepared in the sight of every people, a light to reveal you to the nations and the glory of your people Israel. Amen.
Sean modelos, sean ejemplos en todos los países y lugares, en todas las islas y naciones por donde quiera que vayan, que sus actitudes y sus vidas prediquen entre y para todo tipo de personas. Solo entonces empezarán a caminar alegremente por todo el mundo respondiendo a Dios en cada persona. Be patterns, be examples in all country, places, islands, nations, wherever you come. That your carriage and life may preach among all sorts of people and to them. Then you will come to walk cheerfully over the world, answering that of God and everyone.
Mimeni kila kitu, yashikeni kwa makini yaliyo mema. Prove all things, hold fast to that which is good.
Hello, class of 2020. I think it's with more relief than a lot of Goucher's past speakers that I say, wow, we made it. On behalf of the senior class, I would like to thank all the people that are making these ceremonies possible. We're going through a very weird time, but thanks to the combined efforts of the Goucher staff and faculty that have been supporting students around the clock, the students that have been working to make their voices heard, and the administrators that have been listening, we are dealing with this crisis as a school in a way that makes me proud. On behalf of the senior class and our families, you've done a lot of right by us, and we appreciate it. Last year, I had a professor tell me and a class of graduating seniors that one of the best things about Goucher was that its students were extremely nice. And I remember thinking, what's nice? I was hoping she'd say something more like, one of the best things about Goucher is that its students are extremely well paid the year after they graduate. And sure, nice is good, nice is important, but I didn't need to go this far into debt to learn how to be nice. So what does it mean? When I first got here 4 years ago, I came in with the Phoenix program. This was a group of first-gen or low-income students who showed up a week early before classes started so that the staff of the CREI could teach us what it meant to be college students. And this had a profound effect on me, not because of what I learned on the program, but because of what it told me about Goucher. Here I was, coming from a low-income household in Nowheresville, Midwest, with an acceptable but not stunning high school career, and this big academic institution was telling me, we're interested in what you have to contribute. Goucher is particularly good at that to an extent. Being such a small campus really does give the opportunity for individual voices to be heard, and our classes a lot of the time are small. We have the space for people to give their perspectives. Of course, there's plenty of room for us to grow in that respect, but more than any school I have attended, the professors and students here genuinely try to bring everyone into the discussion, regardless of who they are. But here's the catch. While we love to bring these students to the table, I've noticed that we struggle to accept them in their wholeness, in their nuance, in their backgrounds. And this is something I struggled with a lot when I came here, because as a low-income student, people wanted to hear what I had to say in spaces where they didn't often get that perspective. But as someone who was still learning, who makes mistakes, who was in large part unaware of the world outside my hometown, my voice was much less palatable. And yet I embody all of these experiences. My voice is not only important in spaces where I'm supporting the majority opinion, where people find my experiences useful to their arguments. We can't ignore the parts of people that we find ugly, just because it suits us better to understand people in pieces. As graduates, our words have power, but so do everyone else's. And no, I'm not saying that all opinions carry equal weight. Some people really are just wrong. But all the experiences that led people to those opinions, those understandings of the world that are different from ours, are no less powerful simply because we have a degree and maybe they don't, because you grew up here and they grew up there. And this goes beyond the academic realm. I'm talking about the tangible everyday. I'm talking about the people with whom you fundamentally disagree. The thing is, we can't attack divisions between people by handing out paternalistic arguments that demand conformity with our own opinions. We can't other people in this way simply because we do not have a shared experience of this world. We have to value others for what they have to say, rather than what they have to learn from us. And what we do try to convey must come from a place of genuine compassion, rather than from our need to simply teach a lesson. So what does it mean to be nice? It is to actively and intentionally put kindness out into the world. It is to be open to building relationships with the people around you, even when you don't wholly understand them. Because it is in these connections that we are the most impacted and the most impactful. The friends you've had for years, the strangers you've briefly talked to on the bus, the revolution is in those relationships, everywhere, all the time. To be kind is to see people in their wholeness, and not just how they fit into the world you've built with your own experience. It is to reach out with sensitivity, even if it's hard. If you take anything away from this speech, let it be this. Not everyone has something to teach you, not like in college. However, there is something to learn from everyone. And yes, I mean everyone. Congratulations, class of 2020. Stay kind.
Yeah.
Goucher College class of 2020. Yes, you did it. Congratulations. You have graduated. Yes, 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 yes to all of it. Yes to the successes and the good times. Yes to the challenges and failures and the tough times. Yes to the conversations and the learning and the laughter and the tears. Yes to the scary times and the late nights and the missed moments. Yes to the moments of getting it right, to writing a sentence, a paragraph, an essay that felt good and solid. Yes to a hard test, a failed test, a not representative of your learning test. Yes to the test where you got it all right. Yes to the friendships and relationships. Yes to the light bulb moments and the points of connection. And yes to that recovery sleep that I hope you've all gotten in the last 6 days. Yes to all of it. And yes, even to this major shift in the middle of your last semester of college to remote learning. Yes to you persisting through rapid change and sudden disruption to your classes and to the last weeks of your senior year. The challenges have been real with stress, disappointment, struggle, and grief. And yet you still showed up and met in Zoom classes and worked on group projects, conducted research, found articles, wrote papers, went to office hours, conducted meetings, and made presentations, all in a remote and virtual format. All of this away from your home campus of Goucher. You persisted. You are resilient and you are strong. It brings me great joy to be here with you, class of 2020.
Hello, everybody.
When Cynthia Terry and I were practicing, she said, you know, when you are speaking, you will not be able to hear anybody, see anybody, or even see yourself. So this means that I cannot hear or see any feedback right now. I will not be able to read the crowd, so to speak, and I will not know if anyone laughs at a joke or claps at the end. I decided then that I will laugh at my own 1 or 2 jokes, and I will clap for myself at the end. Why not? This is lesson number 1. Always be your own cheerleader. May you always take a risk for the things that matter to you. And if something falls a little flat or doesn't land quite the way you want it, clap for yourself anyway, because you tried, because you got in the game. May you always be your greatest sponsor, and may you be steadfast in your support of yourself and your goals. As I often say to students, you are the guardian of your energy and life force. It is your sacred duty, your responsibility to bring forth your gifts and your voice and your actions to the world. You must, because the world needs you. I know that can sound trite, the world needs you, but I'm older and it's true. Be bold in your actions and be absolutely resolved in the knowledge that the world needs you. And that means with imperfections, wobbles, mistakes, and all, be your own cheerleader, a leader of cheers. Before we continue, I'd also like to congratulate your parents and the other supportive adults in your life who have sacrificed their own sleep, time, and money. Congratulations, moms and dads, and all of the supporting adults. You did it. You've done a great job. Thank you. We cheer for you. And as soon as this global pandemic is over, your college graduate will fly the nest. In the meantime, graduates, keep the kitchen clean, pick up a broom once in a while, empty the trash, and return all those glasses and bowls from your room. Bring them to the kitchen and put them in the dishwasher. Which brings us directly to lesson number 2. Make the space you are in, wherever you are, better. By cleaning up after yourself, asking how you can be of service, offering a hand, you make things better. Consider the physical, environmental, social, practical, emotional, and spiritual spaces, among others, that you occupy. Goucher graduates, you already demonstrate and embody this in so many ways. Lesson number 3 comes quickly on the heels of number 2. You know how your parents or your roommates are getting on your nerves right now? Like maybe a lot. Like maybe one of your parents or roommates sneezes super loudly, so loudly it almost has a piercing quality to it, which seems impossible for a sneeze, I know, but it's so piercing that it hurts your ears when he sneezes. Well, this is a small reminder that you are getting on their nerves as well. I like this lesson because it's about humility. And ultimately, it's a lesson to have a heart set and a mindset of gentleness, respect, and compassion for ourselves and our annoying parents or roommates. As strong and capable as we are all also fragile beings in so many ways. May you always honor your deeper connections and need for each other. Now, as I prepared for this opportunity to speak to you, I did my background research. I watched a lot of YouTube videos of baccalaureate and commencement speeches. As it turns out, there were common threads that ran through many speeches. Way back in 2019, 2018, 2015, 2012, speakers talked of uncertain times and that the world could sometimes feel a little scary out there and that it may take some time for graduates to find their place. We were so innocent then. You know what the graduating class of 2020 gets to say to all of those other graduating classes, right? Hold my beer. You did all of the things that college graduates have done since the beginning of time, and you did it during a global pandemic. You've got bragging rights for life. You're going to be able to say this forever. I'm class of 2020, and we will all know what that means. Your grandchildren will know what that means. What if this is the perfect time for you to graduate? What if we are indeed at the beginning of great change, where there will be significant challenges and real opportunities, possibilities that we can only just begin to imagine? And what if your graduating class is in the right place at the right time for you to not only personally succeed, but to also make change for the good of the world? Now, let's take a moment to focus on your class. Imagine your classmates for just a moment. See them in your mind's eye and with your heart's center. See their faces, their eyes, their smiles. Hold them in your mind, in your heart. Scan your class. Imagine people walking up and down Van Meter Highway, and Mary Fisher getting a bite to eat, in classes working together, studying late at night in the Ath. See not just your close friends, but each and every one of your classmates. And imagine seeing them as if you are just now realizing and appreciating how amazing each member of your class is. You can see their sparkle and their light and their gifts, and maybe even their funny quirks that you just now realize how much you are going to miss. They are all amazing people. You all are amazing people. Which brings us to the final lesson, lesson number 4. It's an invitation, really. It's an invitation that has always been there for all graduating classes since the beginning of time, although it's usually an implicit invitation. Because it's only indirectly implied and inferred, many graduates missed this call. I did. To be sure, a few in every graduating class have accepted and lived their lives with this particular bid in mind. They have RSVP'd yes to this awesome invitation. And the invitation is this. Imagine if you, the entire Goucher College class of 2020, was absolutely, wholeheartedly, totally for each other, that you celebrate each other, connect with each other, recommend each other, that you create a table where each of you has a special seat with your name on it from here on out, that you are deliberate, intentional, and consistent with how you stand for each other. Imagine small and large actions of unbridled, enthusiastic support for one another. Sending an article or a video, emailing or texting to say, hi, thinking of you, asking if someone can read your cover letter or review that article or book you just wrote. Imagine an audience full of your classmates there for your music or dance performance or for your political campaign. Imagine sharing creative content by you or one of your classmates. Imagine asking and receiving for help in moving boxes up flights of stairs at that new apartment in a new city, and a place to sleep when you visit the city of someone you once sat with in your Frontiers class way back in 2016. This is power, a combination of your individual and collective energies and competencies. It's a network that grows exponentially in its ability to contribute to the success of you and your entire class and to the well-being of the world. It expands outward like great overlapping and interconnecting circles, making a structure that is solid, sure, protective, and strong. Your network exists in an abundant and generative way for your benefit and the benefit of all. Presume this invitation is, and extend this invitation over and over again to each other. Claim these connections, build something with them, embrace the awkward and connect anyway, show up for each other. Take care to cultivate your relationships with each other. Lead cheers for each other, Goucher class of 2020. I have one final gift for you. I'd love to share with you one of my favorite poems called Blessing the Boats by Lucille Clifton. Blessing the boats. May the tide that is entering even now, the lip of our understanding, carry you out beyond the face of fear. May you kiss the wind, then turn from it, certain that it will love your back. May you open your eyes to water, water waving forever, and may you, in your innocence, sail through this to that. Thank you.
Due to the, in response to the pandemic, the Goucher choirs were forced to cancel the performance with a local intergenerational community choir, the Deer Creek Chorale. So during the months of isolation, we, these singers from both choirs, ranging in age from 18 to 80, worked together to create a virtual choir of Dolly Parton's resilient song, Light of a Clear Blue Morning, which we had planned to sing for you in person at this baccalaureate, but today that we present to you in this format. There's a soloist from each choir represented, and on Goucher's part, we are represented by one of the graduating seniors, Megan Seco, and we hope that you enjoy this performance.
It's been a long, dark night, and I've been waiting for the morning. It's been a long, hard fight, but I see a brand new day dawning. I've been looking for the sunshine.
Goucher class of 2020. Congratulations. Congratulations, and you made it. You made it through everything. You've made it through this entire year, and a year that we did not expect would ever be this way, I'm sure. And it's been difficult, I know, disappointing for all of us. And so I could think of no better speaker to help us kind of balm the wounds that we have right now, the lack of leadership and the lack of love in America and in the world, than our guest today. So the senator from New Jersey, Cory Booker, please welcome Senator Booker for a few words.
Thank you so much, number one, for that kind word of introduction. But what a gift you all are giving me to give me a chance to share with you some of my heart on this momentous day that despite the challenges of this age we're in, this is a time of celebration, of adulation. It's a time truly worthy of joy. And so I want to thank you for inviting me. And I want to thank not just the graduating class of 2020 at Goucher College, but the whole Goucher College community, from parents and alumni and faculty and staff. This is an incredible community. I would say this is a beloved community. So thank you very much. So I don't want to take too much time. I just want to tell you two stories. I want to tell you one about show versus tell. And the other one I want to tell you about is about my nemesis, French fries. And so I'm gonna give you those two real quick. So the first one, show versus tell. Look, I've been thinking a lot about the last time I was in a position of leadership during a massive crisis. It wasn't a global pandemic, but this was actually Hurricane Sandy. I was mayor of New Jersey's largest city, and as the storm was coming in, I was working out of our command center, a special place for us in a crisis. But I decided to go out into the community in a command vehicle just to survey the streets as the wind and the rain and the destruction is just picking up. And I was driving down a long stretch of road, and I get this call, and many of you will get this call if you haven't already. It starts with one of the stupidest questions I've ever heard. This is what the call is. The call starts off with, "Hi, this is the White House operator. Will you hold for the President of the United States?" I don't know anybody that ever says no to that question. I'm always curious to joke with the operator the times I've had it happen to me, but I don't want to mess up. And so I just said, yes, of course. And next thing you know, I, the mayor of Newark, New Jersey, is talking to Barack Obama, the President of the United States. And I have to say, as the crisis and jeopardy grew for my community, my state, the kindness of Barack Obama is something I'll never forget. He was generous of spirit, just checking in on me. And it was just a few-minute conversation of goodwill and good spirit and good energy. And as soon as I hung up on him on my cell phone, almost as if they had choreographed it, but they had not, my phone rings again. And this time I answer it, no operator this time, but it is the governor of the state of New Jersey, Chris Christie. And he was doing the exact same thing, goodness and kindness. The governor of the state was checking in on the mayor of the biggest city, seeing how I was doing, how as a community, we shared concerns, we shared heart, and it was a beautiful conversation. And I hung up the phone with him. And just as I did, I was ascending onto a hill, and I see there, on the top of the hill, all these telephone poles had come down, live wires all over this place, and I made out a yellow slicker. There was a man out there in the storm and the wind. And live wires all over the place. My first instinct was kind of be upset. Why is he out here? And I rolled down my window, ready to go in, and I recognized immediately it was an elderly man in his 70s, probably. And as I said to him, "Sir, why are you out here?" He looked at me almost like he's confused by the question. He said, "Why am I out here? There are live wires out here. I'm not going to let my neighbors or anybody come along and get injured or killed. I'm standing out here with my floodlight, waving frantically, trying to stop people from coming into harm's way." And in that moment, I just talked to the president of the United States, the governor of the state. I was the mayor of the city. All of those people with their words and their talk and their telling of concern. But the man on the top of the hill who showed, did not tell, who showed up, who brought the fullness of his being, that to me was the most inspiring of the three people I talked to. Let me tell you, 2020 graduates, so much of life is about showing up. Viktor Frankl talked about that, about the difference, that moment between stimulus and response, where we tell our truth, that what defines us in life is not what happens to you, no matter how horrible it is. Viktor Frankl wrote about the Holocaust. But what he said is our power exists in not the stimulus, but how we choose to respond. And here was a man showing me that when the crisis comes, when the challenge hits, show up with all of your heart, show up with all of your spirit and your courage. In fact, I love that Brene Brown defines courage as vulnerability, putting yourself out there. That is such a powerful lesson. And I'm telling you right now, what's going to define you will not be the circumstances you encounter in life, but how you show up. In times of hurt, in times of harm, do you show up to help? Do you show up to heal? In times of darkness, do you bring your light? In times of trial, what is your testimony? And more powerful than any words is how you show up, how you act. But this is the curious thing about Brene Brown's courage and vulnerability, is that I have to tell you, the greatest courage I've known in my life hasn't been the person standing in a storm necessarily, or that runs into a burning building, or that shows some massive act of public bravery. No, I think that the greatest courage is often seen in those insidiously intimate challenges that we all face. In fact, I know there are people listening to me now that have had those moments in life where you feel the hurt and the pain. Maybe you made big mistakes and you feel the weight of shame or humiliation, or you're crippled by the fear of the circumstances that are happening to your life. And you realize that courage isn't the roar in the arena. No, courage is often that voice that goes off in your head that says, you know what? I'm going to get out of this bed. I'm going to get into that shower. I'm going to get dressed and I'm going to show up in this world because I'm still here. You threw everything at me. My heart is broken, but it still works. I'm showing up. I'm still here. God, that is often one of the greatest statements that you can make, is by showing up no matter what you've encountered, letting them know that your light is still shining. Now, what about that insidious nemesis, the French fry? Well, this actually has to do about showing up as well. Because I hate to tell you this, life is dominated not by the big public acts of bravery and courage showing up then. Yes, pandemic or hurricane or what have you, show up, yes. It's also not always about the private pain or hurt or shame or frustrations that we face. Yeah, show up, show the world you're still here, but life is dominated by ordinary moments. And let me share one with you. 3 blocks from my home in Newark is, I don't know if you all have them or heard of these places, but 3 blocks from my home is this place called McDonald's. And I don't know if you ever heard of that, but I have a guy when I'm working in New Jersey who's been driving me around. He's going to pick me up from DC tomorrow. His name is Kevin Batts. Kevin grew up in the projects in Newark, went off to serve in the military, came back and joined the police force. That's where we got to know each other. He was in my security detail when I was mayor. Now he retired. He's on my Senate staff, an amazing human being. Anyway, he's driving me. I'm sitting in the back. He's in the front. We've known each other for so long, we don't have to speak words. It's just a rearview mirror look. And depending on the look, he usually knows what to do. So we're driving past this McDonald's and he looks in the rearview mirror and all I do is hang my head in shame. The flesh is weak. And he immediately knows to turn into that drive-through. And he doesn't go into McDonald's because I have to tell you guys, I'm a vegan. And how do you know somebody's a vegan? Don't worry, we'll tell you. Anyway, I was just going by to get some fries. This is before I knew that McDonald's French fries are not vegan. Anyway, I go through and I order 2 large fries. This is all I want in the world. I get my 2 fries, go home, unbuckle my pants, and watch some really bad TV. And as I get my fries, I'm holding them in an unnatural way, sort of like from Lord of the Rings. I'm like, my precious. And he's about to drive off when I got my fries, but Kevin sees, as I do, a man in a garbage can sifting around, and Kevin and I look at each other. He knows exactly what to do. He stops the car. I roll down the window and I say, hey man, you okay? And he sort of waves me off. And his dignity is equal to mine, and I didn't want to affront it, so I asked it in a lighthearted way, hey man, you need anything? And he turns to me and he looks at me, he goes, man, I'm hungry, I want something to eat. Now, I don't know what faith you are in, maybe you're atheist, I don't know, but my faith, it says something in the Bible about if you have 2 McDonald's French fries and your neighbor has none, that you're supposed to share one of your McDonald's. I think it was the Sermon on the McMount. And so I reach in my bag and I pull out my McDonald's French fries. I got weak for a moment because that smell hit me, and my hand might have shaken a little bit, but I reach outside and I hand him the French fries. He takes them from me and I could see he looked like he was happy. I felt good about myself. And this interaction I thought was over. I turned to Kevin, looked in the rearview mirror, but before we could exchange the knowing glance to drive, the man says something. He goes, excuse me, do you have any socks? I know a lot of you've worked with homeless, and sometimes that pair of socks could be worth its weight in gold. He might have had some challenges with his feet. And I looked at him. I don't carry extra socks in my car. So I sort of looked in vain and I said, sir, I'm sorry, I don't have any socks. He still seemed to be happy about the French fries. He said, okay, but looked, I could tell his disappointment. And I turned to face Kevin, rear view mirror glance, but this time he wasn't looking at me in the rear view mirror. Instead, Kevin put the car in park, reached between his legs, kicked off his shoes, took off the socks he was wearing, and handed them out the window. I'm talking to you all about showing up, but I want to tell you that every day this world needs the best of you. It needs your moral imagination. It needs your generosity of spirit. It needs your kindness. God, people whip around the word patriotism all the time, and sometimes they use it to try to distinguish themselves from others not being patriotic. Please, patriotism means love of country, and you can't love your country unless you love your fellow countrymen and women. And love of country is a great thing, but I actually don't think love should stop at borders. But love is not sentimentality. Love is always sacrifice. It's always service. And I've seen in my life the power of a kind act, of a kind word, of reaching out a hand to help someone. I'm going to tell you, in my life experience, with every single day, I found that the biggest thing you can do in any given day is most often going to be a small act of kindness or decency or love. Class of 2020, you're not defined by a pandemic. You're not defined by the challenges of this era. Every day you define yourself, and God, this world needs you to show up. It needs your love, it needs your grace, it needs your beauty, it needs your genius, it needs your moral imagination, it needs your help. It needs you to never let despair have the last word, because you'll answer it as an agent of hope. Show up, please, because I'm excited to see who you are and how you change this world. And along your journey, don't eat too many French fries. Show some moderation there. They're not good for you. Thank you, class of 2020. Congratulations.
Yeah, sorry.
Woo!
As we prepare to go from this place, remember this portion of our life's journey. Remember roommates and friends, teachers and mentors, coaches, administrators and staff, and families near and far. We remember with gratitude those who have accompanied us in these years.
We remember friendships made, celebrations enjoyed, promises kept, intellectual and academic accomplishments, caring and nurture given and received, and play and work, study and rest. We remember and celebrate the blessings we have known here.
We remember personal sorrows and traumas, conflict with family and friends, experiences of failure and fatigue, and times of struggle and confusion. We remember and honor the challenges and difficulties of our college years.
We remember experiences abroad and in Baltimore, late night conversations about things that matter and things that don't, internships and classroom time, reflection and engagement. We remember and hold fast to all that has been transformative about Goucher College.
Our journeys will continue in new places with new friends, opportunities, and challenges. May we continue to gain wisdom and experience. May we offer competence and compassion to all the endeavors of our future. May we give back to the world as we have received.
Hello, dear friends. The blessing of the graduates is traditionally a shared reading with parts for families and friends, faculty, and staff. This year, on your behalf, we have an aunt of a graduate, a faculty member, a parent of a graduate, and a staff member to share blessings with you all. And now, class of 2020, hear these words of blessing as our gift to you. As you all prepare to become graduates tomorrow, may you remember that it is as much a commencing, a beginning, as it is an ending.
Class of 2020, may you carry with you your belief in your accomplishments and potential as you head into professional work, further study, community service, or time off.
May you carry with you our belief in your goodness and humor as you begin building new lives while holding on to the old.
May you carry with you our belief in your abilities and character as future leaders in our communities, our schools, our nation, and our world.
And may you carry with you a strong belief in yourselves as you continue to grow and learn, to give and receive. May you go in peace.
Hello and good day. You did it. You made it. Take a breath or a nap to commemorate this iconic moment in your life. We have all been challenged, no doubt, but you push yourself and each other to finish your degrees. Congratulations. Now for the toast. May you continue to learn from yourself, your family, your friends, and of course, the ever-changing technology in our world. May you continue to be open to others while pushing the status quo. May you follow your passions while shooting for the stars. And may you understand that there will always be change, no matter where you are and what you do. And finally, the world needs you now more than ever. So go out there, be bold, be innovative, and be a leader. And always and forever, be Goucher proud. So, please raise your glasses to the class of 2020.
Woo!
Cheers, congratulations.
Yes.
Yay!
Woo!
Woo!
Congratulations! Woo! Woohoo! So a few closing words. I'm going to try to show you campus.
I don't think anyone will have got.
Can you see a little bit? I'm reminded of the words of President Crosshauer. I think he's the one who was asked, Somebody came to campus and said how beautiful the campus was, and he responded something like, well, the buildings are here and they're beautiful, but the campus is away because the students aren't here. And boy, I am feeling that. So thank you for joining us, and all of the people who spoke and sang and shared. What an amazing thing, an amazing theme of a message that was not planned, but was clearly planned. So thank you, all the speakers, Senator Booker, especially thank you for joining us. A huge shout out to the Office of Communications, especially John, Ayumi, Molly, and Stephanie, all that behind the scenes work. Okay, so usually when baccalaureate's over, one of the best parts is that we're all crowded together, hard to imagine being crowded together, outside of Cross Hour, and we get to meet your families. So please do that now. Go to the various receptions hosted by departments and offices. Check your email. Yeah, it's part of your Goucher life. Check your email. You got it, the link this morning. Stop by to see your people. Tell them those important things. Your hand is on the doorknob, and say what needs to be said. Thanks for being here today. Congratulations.